Hi, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Just entering the chat here. Okay. Hi, everyone. So I know it's a bit late, um, and it was a bit sudden, the live stream. But I wanted to connect to you all today a little bit just to chat and give some updates. Let me see. Can you guys see me, hear me? Hope so. Okay. So this is a segment that we used to do a lot more before. And it's about asking your questions. If there are any questions that you would like for me to answer, they are all welcome here. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, everybody. Yay. Hi. Hi, guys. Oh, I can see your messages now. Wonderful. So, okay, so first I have a little announcement to make. I don't know how many of you know, but I'm going to start this goddess program. We're going to start in March. And because of that, I decided to bring in the full moon ceremonies into that program. So everybody who joins will still be participating in the full moon ceremonies, but we will be focusing more on that program, that like the developing of ourselves as women, but also as embodying the goddess essence. So it's going to be a whole journey, because since 2023 started, I was shown that it was going to be like a huge gateway. Like they showed it to me like sort of like a cosmic passageway, like a tunnel of sorts, and that we're all just moving forward through that. And it seemed like the focus should be on the divine feminine for this year, because as I have told you guys before, but the divine feminine is the one who sort of like brings in the templates, the blueprints, and sets the ground, and then everything else comes through her. So we are going to be focusing on bringing all the divine feminines who join to bringing all aspects of their lives to the next level of consciousness, awakening, expansion, especially those areas or those places where perhaps you feel like you need more healing, or you want to unlock your potential, unblock. And we're going to do all of the healing work that we do together normally, the master classes, the light language, clairvoyance, all of those things, but they're going to be like packed into this very special program. So each month is going to have a different theme. And I actually wanted to do it 9 months, but because it's like a pregnancy, but they said like, okay, 10 months is good so that we have enough time to do everything. So we will start in March and then we'll go all the way up until December. And I try to make it at an affordable price for everyone who wants to join. It's almost like one session, one private healing session with me. And you get like so many things per month. So anyway, if you guys feel interested in that, please join us. You can join via, I'm going to post a link here. You want to fill out the application and which is also the invitation. And there you can read all about the program, what it has, what we're going to do. And after you fill it out, I would invite you to a private session with me, a free session, and then we will just discuss like all your questions and everything. And it's still at an early bird price now until the 25th of this month. So we're almost there. So if you guys want to join, spots are also filling up. But yeah, I would encourage you to do that, to do the form. And the faster you do, the faster I can respond and we can have the session together. Okay. And it's going to be epic. And I'm really excited about it and excited about the group that is forming, and to do all this transformation in a safe small group where I will be able to focus on each individual person and their own desires. Even in the form, when you fill it up, like we go into focus on the main areas that are there for you. Okay, so all my goddesses, I will wait there for you. Okay. And so we will have the last full moon ceremony next month. That would be like the last one. So everyone who hasn't joined, who would like to join, it's still like a $20 donation, or 30 if you just join once. So I'll put that information out there in a later date. Okay. Okay. So does anyone have a question so far? Or does anyone want to receive any guidance? Hi, Venice. Oh, you should join us, darling. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so I'm going to start talking about the subject, about channeling, and then we'll see if any questions come up. You can always write them in the chat, okay? Okay, so I wanted to talk about channeling because we as human beings, but especially also after we awaken, but also even before, awakening, we actually channel constantly throughout our lives. And many times we do this unconsciously, right? So there are people who tell me, like, oh, I want to channel, I want to receive messages, or I want to expand my clairvoyance, my clairsentience, everything. So I wanted to shed a little bit of light on the subject because it's really just a matter of practice and a matter of being aware, more self-aware of when these channelings are happening, and also, of course, how to intentionally channel, right? Sorry. So today I had a healing session, and since the healing session I've been with my throat, we're healing a lot of things for the feminine the last couple of weeks as well. So it's good that we're here. We're going to do this, and then we're going to do a small clearing. Okay, great. So channeling, like traditionally, it's been seen or defined as, the person, the human, coming into sort of like a trance state. And then from there, the human starts to receive higher guidance, or the guidance from spirit, or from, whoever that person is channeling. Usually they are spirits, and, from the spirit realms. But we also do this spontaneously when we channel our own higher self. And we can also, and many children also do this, that they accidentally channel or communicate with spirits or with people who have passed on, right? So people who lived once and then they're gone, and they're able to communicate to sensitive beings or humans who are sort of like open or attuned to receive. Hi, darling. Hi, Fernanda. Hi, Miss L. So I'm talking about this because I recently channeled the person who passed away, but it was really unintentional. I was actually talking to an agent, traveling agent, um, via WhatsApp, and oh my God, Venice, yes, please do. I would love to hear your good news, my love. Hi, Sujipto. So I was talking to this person for traveling reasons, and um, he told me that his father had just passed on, and all of a sudden I started to feel the presence of the father and to receive information. So I was like, okay, you're here. Do you want me to tell him something? And the father was like, yes, tell him to focus on the house, only the house. That's the most important thing. Tell him to leave everything else. And I was like, okay. So I just told the person, like, hey, like I received a message from your father. Would you like me to tell you? And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay, well, he says to focus on the house. Um, and then he was like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. We're just handling things. I was just handling things about that house. And then the father just started to talk to me and say many more things. And I was just passing the messages. And and funny enough, the person received them very well, and they were pertaining to everything that he had questioned. And um, at one point, the father said something very funny, and I told him I relayed the message, and I told him, "Your father was a funny guy, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, he was very funny." I was like, "Yeah, I can even sense the personality just by channeling the energy, right?" And so that was it. And the thing about that was that it happened when I had just finished giving healing, and usually when there is a message that I need to relay, I have this sort of like rules set up that if it's something important for the person, or if I can help the person through whatever I'm going to channel or say from that person who has passed on, then I will say it. It's not something that I offer in my sessions. It's not something that I do openly. Actually, very few people know that I do this, but this happened to me since I was little. And the reason that I um, don't do it or didn't do it a long time, I actually blocked it for a long time because I was very scared for my childhood experiences, right? Because back then I could not just hear the people, sometimes I would hear them, and I had no boundaries set. I had no knowledge of how to deal with that. And I had no idea, who was actually talking to me. Hi, Salome. So many, many children, or almost everybody, is born with their very heightened sensibility and with abilities to channel information, to channel energy. And in energy, there is what we call energetic information. So that's why you see sometimes children, talking to trees, or talking to their spirit guides, or having their imaginary friends, um, and they can communicate to animals. They're much more attuned and connected because they are not conditioned yet to what you know the norms of society are, to 3D life, basically to the matrix, right? So, but in those experiences, sometimes, if the children communicate that to the parents, or communicate that to their peers, and the other ones are not as sensitive or are not as receptive, they will say, like, oh, you're crazy, or they won't understand, or they won't have like the proper guidance, right? That they need to actually potentialize those gifts, or to actually know how to handle them in a way that is safe and comfortable for the child. And many of these children They can have all types of things like ADD, sometimes ADHD. They can even get, diagnosed with a number of things. Um, Even like the spectrum of autism and all that. But it's actually energetically, when we see that, it's what's happening is that they're actually more connected to higher dimensions than this physical plane, and they haven't yet developed the tools that they need for the physical plane. um, so they're sort of like using the tools for the spiritual plane in the physical world. And of course this can help for a while, or this can work for a while, but then comes a moment where we have to, learn how to embody all of these things. Mhm. Yes, and sometimes we can get scared of them. And actually, I have found that, when I see a child who has these gifts, or a teenager, um, usually the parents or the um, caretakers who are not attuned, or who are not spiritual, they become afraid of the child, or when children talk about their past lives, or when they remember their deaths, or their past deaths, or when they communicate to people who have passed on, the grandmother, the grandfather, the first reaction normally is fear. And then, like, there comes this thing from the parents where they start to look for help. They usually look for help in the medicine field, in the normal medicine field. And of course, in the modern medicine field, in psychiatry, psychology, these things are handled and treated in a very, very different way. Unless the psychiatrist and the psychiatrist or the psychologist is already also spiritual, or has a different capacity, or integrates spiritual into their practice, which, thank God, it's starting to happen. And I think we're going to see a big shift in psychiatry and psychology in the next coming years, like 20 to 50 years. But we're in the beginning of that. Mhm. Thank God. So that, like, intuitive way of channeling, it is increased when the less judgments we have about it, the less fear we have about it. When the fear is transmitted to the child, or to the person who's channeling, and the child believes it or takes it on from the parents, then it's usually when they close off, and when they block it, and they say, like, I don't want to see anymore, I want to be normal, and that's when the gifts sort of like disappear, because of course, as we know, we always have free will. So even the free will of a child, everything, the free will of everyone and every being is respected. So if the child says, I don't want to see anymore, then the result is that they end up not seeing. And then when we awaken, many times, these gifts come back online, or they start to awaken. For some people, they awaken uh, spontaneously. For others, it happens through very deep, uh, hard experiences, or accidents, or after surgery, or near death experiences. It can be like a number of things, um, and it depends on your own path and journey. It can also be through meditation. For me, for example, the first time that they like reawoke after my childhood, it was through a very deep meditation. And actually, through that meditation, I just everything um, came back to me in remembrance, and many things. And I was like, oh my God, like, where did this come from? And then I started to remember everything that happened to me as a child. It was like a movie. Like, I started to see everything. And, they also came back online when I was ready, or had the tools, or was on my way to developing the tools to actually harness them, and to put those gifts into use, right? So put them into service, not just for myself, but basically for other people. Okay, whose connection perhaps is not as strong, and sometimes they need like a mirror, or a message, or communicate to their diseased ones, etc. Okay, so let me just read the questions real quick. Okay, so Tina says that something is blocking her when she meditates. I feel that I can't visualize anymore. Can you see what is blocking me? Let me see. Okay. They're saying to they're saying like the emotions are blocking. So I don't know if you have had lately, Tina, something hard that happened emotionally taxing or something that perhaps sort of broke your heart. Um, but they're telling me that when you do your meditation, when you sit down and meditate every day, try to move the breath and connect the your womb, your heart, with your ashna and with the crown. Like bring that energy up and create this flow. Basically, it's about coming into the heart, settling into the heart first, and making yourself feel safe and loved. And from that love, then you can go upward with the energy, and and you can sort of like go into your ashna if you want to visualize things. But at the same time, when we have periods where we don't see, if you usually hear things but now you're not hearing anything, if you normally see colors and now you don't see, sometimes, like if you're on your spiritual path, if you're doing your spiritual practice daily, if you're meditating, if you are taking time to receive from God, if you're connecting, if you're expanding your spiritual cord, if these things happen, they are normal. Sometimes they happen in order to develop a different gift. Sometimes you may stop seeing for a while, you may stop dreaming for a while, especially people who were very prone to dreaming and to receive messages through dreaming. It's like you master a little bit that quality, and then there can be moments where it's simply gone. So you start to develop other ways of connecting, other ways of receiving messages. Mhm. And channeling is very subtle, like even visualizing, um, it's a very subtle perception that with time we learn to anchor, and it can become stronger or more clear, but it's still subtle. Like even, for example, for me in this example that I gave you this time that I was channeling this person's dad, the energy is a, for me, it is a particular energy that I feel in my body, but it's not strong at all. It's just like, imagine a very calm breeze, like this calm breeze just touching your skin. It's sort of like that sensation. And then I know, oh, okay, something is coming in. And then I ask, okay, what is this? Who are you? And then I get the images and I get the information that I need. But of course, this requires practice. As you guys know, I have been doing this since I was like, well, the second time I was like 17 years old. So, and it wasn't always like that. Like sometimes it can be very strong. Sometimes it can be very light, very subtle. It depends. But no matter how subtle it is, when you have practice, you can sort of like hone in on the messages. And what I recommend to everybody who is doing this or is practicing this is to ask questions and just wait. Wait for the answer to come. Like, don't try to force the energy. Don't try to get a particular vision. You just have to be like a blank canvas, or imagine a blank screen in your mind's eye. And then there, just allow whatever appears to appear. And for example, if, I don't know, a mountain appears, then you can ask, okay, is this a place? And then you can see maybe a map if it's a place, or maybe they can show you, no, maybe it's a tree or it's nature, or maybe it's a symbol for something. So the more you ask questions to your guides or to your higher self when you are channeling, the easier it will be for you to interpret the messages. Because as we know, sometimes messages can be very, very clear and precise. like the message that I was receiving from this person, he was like showing me a house. He was like, they have to focus on the house. They have to focus on the house. And then he showed me like a folder. He was like, there's a folder on the top drawer, on the top floor, in this drawer. And it's a black folder. And I was like, okay, you have to look for this black folder. The person was like, what? Like, how do you know that? I'm like, I don't know that. I'm just, uh, relaying the message from your dad, right? So the more open you are and the less expectation and the less you actually put your mind or your reasoning into the process, the easier it becomes. That's why meditation or any type of spiritual practice, but where you go into a state of meditation, even if it's walking, even if it's washing the dishes, even if it's making a tea, the more you practice being in that state of receptiveness, of also of not being in your mind, of not thinking or allowing the flow of thoughts to just move through you and not get into your head, basically, which is what meditation allows us to do, to connect purely to source, to God, to the universe, however you call it, and to your higher attributes, to your higher self. The more you practice that, the easier it is for you to receive messages in normal situations, like even when you're doing something normal, like writing a message to someone or walking down the street. But the cultivation of awareness is key, because like had I not cultivated some sort of awareness, let's say I had not taken the time to stop when I felt that breeze or that energy coming in, to ask, okay, what is this? And I had not known that it was the father of this person, and then I had not been able to relay these messages to this person that I was just sending a text to, right? So the more awareness, the more you will be able to know when your presence or your channel, let's say, is required. And or also the other side of this is your intention. Like when you're channeling something, is it for your healing? Is it with the intention to help yourself or to help another? Is it with the intention to shed light on a situation? Is it your intention to just communicate to God, communicate to spirit, or communicate to animals? And if you have that intention set already, that you're here as a channel of love and light and healing, then you will be notified, literally, when you're able to help or to do something for yourself or for another. Mhm. Okay, let me just see here. Oh, so Dipta says he's connected to people from his past life. Okay. My friend has a question. How does one reach a place of satisfaction? Okay. Good question. So let me see. I think, satisfaction or being satisfied, I would perhaps use the term like um, peace or contentment. Because in a way, like satisfaction can even be like fleeting, it's kind of like when I don't know, you eat something and then you're like satiated and you're satisfied for that brief moment, but then it will come a time where you'll be hungry again and then you'll need something else. Like usually I see satisfaction sort of like tied to desire. Like I desire this, and when I get it, I will feel satisfied. But most of the times that doesn't happen. Even like the more that we achieve or we get the things that we actually wanted, um, because satisfaction should actually be like self contentment. Like it should be something that comes from the inside, or that whatever we receive or we cherish from the outside, that we're able to translate it and to bring it back inside. Mhm. So for me, the only thing that truly um, brings us as human beings like contentment or fulfillment or peace is when we align with the truth of who we are. Mhm. When you seek to align with the truth of who you are, and when you start to align more and more and more, then it doesn't really matter what you do. It doesn't really matter where you are, what you achieve. You will still be content in yourself. Like you still have that feeling of being satisfied because you're appreciating every single present moment. You're appreciating your life. You're appreciating your body, your field. Um, and like the shamans do, it's a good thing to sometimes practice like, what if I would die tomorrow? What if death is upon me here right now? What would I be doing to feel peace, to be content, to feel, good, hopeful, even in the midst of whatever is going on? So your alignment with yourself, with your true nature, with your true purpose, and also if you're a light worker or a healer or someone who is interested in spirituality, usually your like alignment to your truth is also tied or linked to serving people and sharing whatever gift you have with others. And that, from what I have seen and also personal experience with a lot of people, patients, and everything, people who are aligned with their divine purpose, they feel content no matter what. Like, no matter if it's going well or not so well, no matter if they are, whatever is happening in the 3D human life, like there's a feeling or there's an aura of everything is fine. Every single thing, even this trouble, even this disease, even this, um, whatever I'm feeling, it's all part of the plan. And as long as I am, nurturing myself, aligning with who I am, and I'm coming from truth, then everything else will just fall into place. And everything that is challenging is a lesson to learn, and everything that is wonderful is something that I can truly enjoy. Mhm. Because people who are very focused on desire or achieving certain things, it creates sort of like this void where there's never enough. There's never enough money, even if they're millionaires or whatever. Like there's always this like search for something else, to sort of like numb down whatever feelings are occurring, or to um, it's kind of like a chase. It becomes a chase. So I would say never chase anything. Like never chase your happiness, never chase a person, never chase a job. You can go for your goals, and you can work towards your goals, and you can you can have a plan of how to do it, but from the energy of fulfillment, from the energy of I have everything I need within me. So anything else that I manifest outside of me, it will just be like a reflection of what I have already created within me. Mhm. So always, always starting here inside. When you're alone, when there's no one speaking to you, when there are no distractions, how am I feeling? How is my soul feeling? Mhm. And there is a challenge. There is a place where you can start and see, okay, if I'm not feeling great, then maybe I can dig in and look a little bit like, okay, what's happening? And then realign. realign your life, your practices to that inner alignment. Create an environment that supports that inner alignment, that supports that inner view that is growing. And that truth will start to ripple out into everything that is material, because we template on the spiritual, we sort of like set everything on the spiritual, and then it comes into the physical. It's not the other way around. Okay. Yay. Hi, DJ. I hope that answered that a little bit. Okay, let me see. Fernanda says, how can I connect more with my past life memories? I'm remembering bits of my galactic life and self, but I want to connect more with those memories so I can gain more knowledge. Thank you. Okay. So, like we were saying, it's always important to have like your purpose of like why you want to do it. And, gaining knowledge is something very, very beautiful and very precious. But I would even back that up a little bit more with, um, like what is it that I want to do with that knowledge, or what am I looking for in that knowledge? Mhm. Because we can receive a lot. Like, if you want, you can be connecting to everything and to everyone. You can receive a lot of information, but the easier that it will come to you is when you have like a clear intention of what you're going to do with that information. So, for example, if you say, okay, I would like to receive information to heal the past lives that I need to heal right now for my present moment, or I want to receive information from my past lives, whether good or bad, because I want to, write a book about these experiences and share with other people who also remember. Whatever it is, those are just examples, but to have that clear purpose for you, and to see if that purpose is aligned um, with your present moment as well. Because sometimes if we get too much information that we're not ready to handle, or that we're energetically not ready to receive, it can also cause more confusion or even delusion. So you have to be in a place where you can accurately perceive what is being relayed to you. And the easier way for it to be accurate, your perception to be accurate, is of course to have a balanced mind, body, heart, and spirit, right? So the more integrated you are in your own experiences, in your own energetic self, the easier it will be for you to differentiate. I, for example, when I work with past lifetimes with, my patients or clients, I only work through past lifetimes if they show up in their healing. So I always set the intention for the healings for my patients to be exactly what they need at that precise moment in time. Not more, not less, and exactly what they can handle energetically at that moment in time, so that it actually integrates, and so it can be coherent information, and it can create, like, it can add to their coherence as an energetic being or as a spirit in a human body. Um, because we cannot sort of like bypass certain processes and certain stages of development that every person needs in order to be able to understand and make use of the knowledge that is being given to them. Okay. So for example, sometimes in my sessions I will receive messages, and if I'm not sure, I will ask, is it okay for me to share this with them? And sometimes they will say yes, and sometimes they will say no. So I just put that into the healing, but I don't relay the specific message, because perhaps the specific message would be too much or would be too far out there. for the person to actually make something out of it. And when they're not able to make something out of it, it usually leads to more confusion. So, um, yeah, I would always say, like, whatever you are, trying to channel, like, to make it from the point of light within you, from integrity and with a clear intention, so that you're able to better interpret and receive the messages that are coming in. Okay. And many shamanic healers here in Mexico, like all of the old traditions, but also in all lineages, um, there have been mediums, there have been channels, basically, just like the old Greek oracle, the Delphi oracle, or the I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but the Buddhist oracle, that they have in Tibet, that he was always like the advisor of the lamas and all that. And these would actually be people or children that would literally harness that specific capacity to be in a trance state and to channel information from other realms, from spirit, from a higher source, let's say. For me, the safest way to channel is always to stay in your line. Like, I give this example to my students sometimes. Like, imagine, when people go to see like sharks or animals in the at the bottom of the ocean, they put you like in a cage, and then in that cage you go down, and then you see the sharks, whatever, and then you come up. You don't go outside that cage, because if you go outside that cage, there are many things that you don't want to find, or you don't want to encounter a shark face to face, right? So spiritually, like, your spiritual cord, let's say, is your access to the higher realms. So as long as you stay in there and you connect through your connection to source only, and you don't go outside, of your connection to source, which means that you don't plug into other beings or other things to connect to source, um, the better it is, like the safer it is to actually channel. Or for me, actually, it's the only sort of like safe way to channel, and especially if you go into trance states. And trance doesn't mean that you completely leave your body. Some people do, and some people have done it, or they just sort of like stay outside the body for that moment. But there's always a part of you that stays in the body. So there's a part of you that's still conscious, right? And that is still breathing. Um, and it's like you just make space for that energy to um, sort of like relay the messages. When we see, for example, what's his name again? Cryon. I don't know if you guys are familiar to Cryon, but the channeler of Cryon, he also does like a full body channeling, um, and he sort of like goes away for the period of time where the the spirit energy that is connected to him comes into the body. But there are many different ways of channeling. You can channel consciously. Like, for example, now when I'm speaking to you, and every time I do these like live videos, or when I answer questions that are specific to a person, I go into it's not a trance, but it's like a channeling energy. So it's like a very, very, let's say, like a very, very light trance, where I'm putting a part of my mind aside, and I'm letting higher guidance to come through me and to speak through me. So I'm not speaking to you as like Lana, the human being. I'm speaking to you as part of me, of course, is Lana, who's relaying the messages, but then I'm also giving space to whatever needs to come through for the highest good of everyone here to come through. So that's why sometimes I do a little bit of funny faces, or I look a little bit there into the nothingness. um, and also, if you ask me a question, for example, and you want me to see something, I sort of like let my vision go, because I'm starting to see with my third eye. So I start to receive the vision like that. But I'm still, of course, here in my body. I'm still conscious, but it's like being in two places at the same time. It's a little bit that feeling. Kind of like a bifurcation, I think it's called. Um, and when I do, for example, the healings for you, sometimes I will become a channel completely, with the light language and everything. And the depths um, of how much I come into a trance or not depends on the healing that needs to be coming through. So I'm like the instrument, and if they need me to sing, I'll sing, even though I'm not a singer. You guys know that. um, I will, speak, and I will say certain things, and it's like bringing many pieces together and then just allowing it to ground into earth. hmm Yeah. Hi, Celia. Hi. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. From New York. Oh, and you guys can tell me where you guys are connecting from. That would be awesome. Okay. So does anybody have any question about channeling? Oh, thank you, Fernanda. Thank you so much for your donation. Thank you, Miss L. You guys are so kind. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So now let me see. Something about hmm. Yeah. L13 asked if she's going to be a mom again. Well, it depends on many different things. I'm feeling there's like a little bit of sadness there to be healed. Um, it's like, let me see. Yeah, like this little blockage there. I think it's a bit of sadness and grief here on the upper chakra, so more related to the mind. So I would work on perhaps for you to just have your like intentions, affirmations, and to tell yourself every day, like, yes, I'm here. I am a mom. I am super fertile. I'm this, I'm that, or whatever the circumstances that need to come together for you to start to blend in. And for many people, I think, especially 2024 is going to be like a big uh, wave of births of these new children starting 2024. That's why we're also doing this whole preparation thing for the divine feminines in 2023. And then, probably 2024, also a lot of work with the masculine. But I think the waves will already start in 2024 of these babies. Mm, okay. Any healing for the illusion of separation? Yes. Um, well, the good thing is that that it is an illusion, right? So, like, the more that you can be in the facts, so in the um, reality of your being, in the reality of, saying like of God or of the universe, like the more that you can see uh, like oneness in everything, the more that you can see the universe working together, nature working together, everything that has happened in your life being woven together, um, and starting to see that there is a divine pattern there, that there's coherence there. And then you can start to align even more and more and more with that, you know? And also just by being aware when you start to believe a false narrative, or when you start to think things that are not uh, constructive, or maybe self-destructive thoughts, or anything that is not coming from a place of being, of just being at peace by being present in the moment. Then you can see, okay, oh, I was worrying because I was in the future. Oh, I was worrying because I was thinking about the past. Oh, I was worrying because I was 3,000 miles away from my body. And come back to your breath, come back to your body, come back to the present, and come back to a state of being. Mm. In the state of being, we all experience oneness, always. That's why when we meditate, or when we listen to a guided meditation, or when we receive healing, we just feel at peace and we don't have a care in the world. We come back, and I see this in all my clients and patients. They come back with this like glitter, like this shine in their eyes, like they're newborn, like they're babies, because they allowed themselves to just be. Mm. They allowed themselves to be taken care of by God, by the universe in that moment. So if we want to, you know, release the illusion, or transcend the illusion, we have to be able to, like see with more clarity what is not illusion. So align with, um, in this case, union, or unity consciousness, oneness. Okay. I hope that helped. Let me know. Okay. Hi, Kavya. Can you guide me on how to serve my soul purpose here more effectively, and also some tips on protecting my energy from collective. Lately, I have been feeling exhausted. Yes, we're all feeling it. Sometimes you feel exhausted, yeah, because there's a lot of work there. Sometimes it's the people around you. Um, I recommend to always have like a practice that you do daily to clear all those energies that are not yours, especially if you're an empath, especially if you're a healer, especially if you're a light worker. But everybody, no matter who, even if they're not in a spiritual path, like if you can have a practice, um, like of silence, stillness, where you actually clear the energies from your field. For example, taking a bath with salt water, that allows you to release a lot of the energies that you're carrying in your energetic body. But of course, we're not just the energetic body, we have many other bodies, and we have many other ways and places and dimensions where we connect to things. But if you're conscious about this, you can just like consciously do a meditation, or while you're doing a meditation or healing, just to say, like, I consciously disconnect myself from everything and all that is not serving me. I take my energy back, and I give the energy back, sending appropriate energetic information. I release this energy. I release myself. I take back my power. I bring back my energy to me. Healed, cleansed, transmuted. And to serve your purpose more effectively here, well, of course, it would be to first start to align with that purpose, right? To see, how can I like, if you know what the purpose is, or if you have an intuition or an inkling, to ask for guidance every day, ask God every day, and ask yourself, like, how can I serve my purpose today, even if it's in a very small way. So if you know your purpose is to bring more joy to people, or to help certain people, then no matter where you are in your path, you can just take that initiative, take that first step every day, and do at least one thing, that brings you closer to that purpose. And then it becomes a continuum, because we're always serving our purpose, whether we are aware or not. Of course, the more aware we are, the more impact our purpose can have, and the more we can expand the reach, let's say, or the ripple effects of our purpose. But you have to know yourself first. You have to be in a place where you are able to calm yourself down, to be there for yourself when you need it, to bring you out of situations, when you're able to regulate your nervous system, when you're able to regulate your emotions, to self-soothe, to feel protected. Because if we're not okay with ourselves, no matter how much we try, to do things outward, it will only last so long before we burn out or something like that. So we have to learn how to sort of like fulfill that purpose within ourselves. So if your purpose is to bring help and love and joy to other people, or if your purpose is to heal people, then start by healing yourself. Start by healing, by bringing more happiness to your life, by bringing more meaning to your life in whatever way that your purpose is pointing you to. And then you can, it probably will naturally happen, but then you can start serving more broader, and you can receive all those intuitions, like what could I do, or how can I put it into action, or do I need to open my practice? Whatever those things are, they will come to you. The more you are in alignment with yourself, the more you know yourself, and the more you spend time with yourself. Mhm. I hope that helped, Kavya. And also for all divine feminines that are here that just joined, we will also be talking about that and working through that in my program, God is Love for Divine Feminines, which is starting in March. It will go all the way up to December. So we will have a full 1 year, almost 1 year journey with me. And the program will be built in such a way that it adds on and on in each month. For example, 1 month we're going to focus on the body, and integrating how to integrate your spiritual self in the physical body. What practices are good for you? What food is good for you? What energetic cleanses you can do? Everything that supports, for example, the physical vessel. And then another month we're going to focus on developing your spiritual gifts, your clarity, your intuition, everything that will help serve your mission. And then another month, we're going to focus on purpose and mission. How can I serve? What is my purpose? What is my mission? How can I serve more broader? What are the blocks that are limiting me from actually sharing my gifts with people, with the world? Then another month, it's going to be focused on the divine masculine and how to change your point of attraction so that you're able to attract, a healthy, beautiful divine connection. And then changing the point of attraction, perhaps of, in manifestation, in abundance. Like, how can I change my point of attraction so that I actually become the magnet that pulls in the resources that I need in order to fulfill my divine purpose? Because see, all of these layers that I just talked about, all of the aspects in your life, and also if you have children, if you have a partner, if you have families, if you have everything that is part of your world experience, those are all areas where your spiritual development and your spiritual awareness uh, can expand, and where it can actually sort of like uplift them, and take them to a different frequency where it's not as hard, where you don't have to struggle so much, where, we always have to take action, of course, too. Like, we have those two things. But when you sort of like create the vision and the world and yourself and the body and the circumstances that you need through the higher realms, then the co-creation here in the physical, taking the steps, is easy. Why? Because it's fun. Why? Because I'm doing it through spirit. Why? Because I know that it's aligned for me. Why? Because it's serving my purpose. So you see, it all becomes like this beautiful chain of events, and this link of so many things together that contribute to literally being reborn, to being a different version of yourself, a different you, or to becoming the original you, your true version, your authentic self. where you're not fearful anymore of what people are going to say, where you conquer those fears, where you conquer your dreams, where you let yourself dream and become the woman, the divine feminine or divine masculine that you came here to be. Mhm. And that faith, that strength, that um, intuition, all of that is given to you through your connection to the divine and through really developing that relationship with the divine. The divine is not just something that we pray to when we're in trouble, or something that it's too big for us to touch or to come in contact with. The divine is here. You are a living, breathing little drop of the divine, a piece of the divine, and a very important element of the divine. So the more you go inward, the more you learn how to connect there, and the more you realize your potential, the more you realize what you have to do, the more you realize where you're going, because you have always been there. The divine has always been here. Mhm. Okay. If you guys want to join the program, here's the link. I'll leave the link here again. Okay. Now let me just catch up with the questions because I think I spoke so long. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Tina says, so when I ask a question and set the intention, how can I know it's not me answering my wants or desires? Yes. Well, you, that's why we need practice. So you need to be able to be in that neutral space. I would start practicing with things that aren't really important to you, like things that you have no expectation of, or things for other people. Usually it's easier to channel messages for other people than for ourselves, especially in the beginning, because we're not attached to the outcome of the other person. So whatever comes through can simply come through. So I would start practicing like that. And then in the middle of that practice, also try, asking questions for you. But try to first pick questions that you're neutral about, that they don't cause any sort of expectation or confusion, or that there's no emotion involved. And then when you want to ask a question, like when you have enough practice, then you can also start to ask questions that do hold perhaps a bit of a charge, but you have to release the charge before asking the question. So you go into meditation and you become very, very, very detached from whatever you're going to ask. Like you can even say, this is not important to me. This is absolutely not important to me. This doesn't make a difference. Like, I don't even care what I'm going to receive as an answer. Like you have, sort of like saying those things to yourself so that you release the charge. And when you feel like you're at peace with whatever answer could possibly come through, then you ask the question and then see what comes through. Mhm. Okay. And remember that, you are part of your higher self. So there's always a part of us that is human, and there's always a part of us that, you know, um, will react in a certain way. But if you can go to your higher self and connect there before answering that question, then for the higher self, it doesn't really matter what happens here. This is like a blink of an eye, and the higher self knows that we're here to learn all of these lessons anyway. So the higher self is always neutral. And when you have support from, angels or, other higher beings, then it's usually coming with healing. Like whatever you channel comes with a part of healing. So you will know when you receive an answer and then you start to feel a lot of peace and you're like, oh my God, yeah, this is the answer from them. Um, okay. Let me see. Okay. And if anyone wants to, ever, like, if you want to receive messages from like a deceased loved one or something, I may be opening a session for that. Um, I will let you know. But also, if you want to ask like specific questions about people or spirits that you're connecting to or whatever, I would rather do it in a private session so that we're protected and we protect the fields. Okay. Okay. Oh, and also about that, this is the last month that I'm going to be doing like the single healings. Because then I'm going to be focusing exclusively on the goddess program. Okay. So from now until the 30th, um, and whatever openings are still there from my calendar, they are still open. Like you can book those. But then I will stop a little while. Okay, let me see. Um, Hi, Lana, what is the timeline of union? Do you mean union between you and your counterpart, or do you mean mm, like a more general view of union? Can you please clarify? Okay, let me see. Can you explain the difference between channeling the higher self versus spirit? Yes, Cynthia. Well, it's just I mean, for me, it's just about terminology. Like in the end, it's like, do you know like those little dolls that those Russian dolls? I think they're called mamushkas, where there's like a tiny doll and then there's a bigger one and a bigger one and a bigger one, and you start to open the big one and then there's a smaller one, smaller one, smaller one. That's a little bit how I see like our spiritual channel and how we are spirit. So imagine that for example, when you say spirit for me is like more wider term. So it refers to the spirit that is in all. It can be like the creator, let's say, or source. So that is like that encompasses everything. And then a little bit down that ladder into, let's say, into individuality, then there's like the higher self, let's say, and then there is you. There are more levels in between, like a lot of different more levels, like your soul group, extended soul group, monad, logos, beyond. But your higher self is like the specific aspect of you that is or that exists in the higher dimension. Mhm. So we can call it like the higher soul too. And that's like your unique expression, but in the higher realms. Then when we go more and more, as we go more and more and more up, we actually start to fuse with everything and then we become one. So um, it's sort of like we become the divine spark and then the divine spark dissolves into the sparks or the ocean of consciousness or the ocean of God or however you want to call it. So it's like a more individualized uh, aspect of God that pertains to you specifically. Mhm. I hope that made sense. Let me know. Okay. Yes, Miss L. Epsom salt baths are really good. Also, sea salt baths, they're also for whoever wants it. Okay. Does Spirit have any channel guidance for me regarding the spiritual path and my relationship with the divine? Oh, darling, for that, please do like a personal session. Let me see if there's any general message for everyone who's here connected. Okay, ooh, they're saying like your house is a place of devotion. And they were showing me like to have an altar if you don't like already have one, to create an altar and to connect to yourself. And they're also talking about healing your relationship with the mother or with the goddess aspect, like the feminine aspect of God. Yeah, healing the mother wound and bringing it together. Okay, so more love for yourself and that self-healing, and just doing your regular spiritual practice, making that like a priority, and connecting to the Divine Mother as well. Okay. Oh, thank you, Cynthia, for the donation. Okay, let me see. You're so welcome, Kavya. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. You know, guys, I've been wanting to do a lot more. I have one prepared to upload, but I haven't been uploading. I also wanted to tell you guys that I haven't been uploading as much as I did a little bit before, because I have been having some trouble with my computer. It's full now, the disk space or something. I've been trying to fix it, but apparently I need to get another computer. And that's where I edit all my all the recordings, all the healings, everything. So I will have to be getting some new equipment, also, you know, the microphone, and I want to actually build a tiny recording studio in my apartment, so that I can be able to record more, because now these past times, sometimes I was going to rent a studio, but it's also very expensive. So I'm on that process. You know, I'm in the process of doing that, just waiting for all the right circumstances to align. But I will definitely be, once that is all like settled, I will be uploading way more frequently. That's the goal. Okay. Okay. Hi, Nati. Any idea why would a person start channeling visions or sensations from the past or future? Yes, of course. I mean, sometimes it can be, you know, when we channel things or visions from the future, they are like the premonitions. So you may, you know, receive information of something that is going to happen. I've met many people who, you know, they dream about things that are going to happen. I have had that as well when I dream. Usually they're not really nice things that will happen. Like I dreamt, for example, when they were going to rob my parents' house, and they did. And I told my father like 2 weeks before, like, Dad, I think they're gonna rob the house. Like it's easy to get in, you know? Like he was like, oh my God, like, why are you saying that? It's so bad. And I'm like, I just had a vision, you know. But of course, you know, my dad was not in that frame of mind at the time. And then yeah, 2 weeks later, they literally robbed the house exactly how I told them that it was going to be. So it's a bit tricky sometimes, because also in visions, it's a bit tricky to know or to identify the exact time when it's going to happen, unless they really tell you like the precise hour and everything. I had once, there was a big earthquake here in Mexico in 2017. I wasn't here, I was abroad, but I received the exact time of when it was going to happen. And I actually told my parents to be in the house when it happened. But I didn't know that it was going to happen. And of course, my parents just did what they, they like, a little bit like did it because of the incident with the house when I told them that. And because of course they know me. But they were a bit reluctant to listen, but in the end they did, and it was good. But the thing with that is is that sometimes, especially if they are like natural disasters or things that involve other people, it's a bit tricky because if you tell everything like it is, you can scare them, and that creates even more, chaos or whatever. Um, but I think it's all about your internal and following your internal guidance system, not just when you receive the channeling, but actually when you're relaying the channeling, like when you're relaying the information, and to use your discernment and your caliber if this information is meant to be shared or not, and with whom. To just be very careful with that. And of course, if you see things for the past and future for yourself, then it's a good thing, or you can set the intention perhaps to receive, things that will actually sort of like heal you or help you in your spiritual path or your development. Um, but if you're seeing, like random things, you can also inquire about them, or just set that rule in your mind, in your consciousness, that you only receive the information that is important to you or to other people in that particular moment. And that way you can also filter out a lot of things, because even if we're able to channel lots of things, we lose energy if we start to channel a lot of things that don't even make sense. Like channeling can be taxing on the body and in our energetic reservoirs. That's why, for example, now I'm just doing it very shortly and very at a minimal level, because I'm already a bit tired because I gave sessions today, and I don't want to like run out of energy. And the same for if you are like a professional channeler, or you're doing that, like you have to learn how to self-adjust and self-regulate your energy so that you have enough available for your channelings, and to know how much it actually takes from you to channel. So to be very discerning and not to see it as like, oh yeah, I'm going to channel everything, because it's just like an empath saying, oh yeah, I'm going to feel everything. You guys know probably already, we know how taxing that can be in many different levels of our being. Okay. If you're not properly filtering out, releasing, etc. Oh, thank you, Bobby. Thank you so much, guys, for your donations. Thank you so much. Okay, let me see. Where was I? Okay. Yes, Venice. And the good thing, also with like as like with the programs or everything that I offer, you guys have direct access to me, and you can ask me any question anytime. Like if you're in a class with me, if you're in the full moon ceremonies with me, if you're in, of course, in a personal session with me, but also in the group sessions, there's always space for you to ask the questions that are pertaining to you, and I will answer them. Okay. Like that's a given. So if any of you ever need some support, or have a question, or you would like to ask something directly to me, just reach out, okay? Or come to one of my classes, come to one of my courses. Even in the full moon ceremonies, those are like donation based, and there you can always also ask your questions. We're going to suspend them for a while. I'm a bit sad for that, but I was really guided to just focus on this, this goddess program, because I feel like it's going to be very, very important and life-changing, and also important for what is to come for all the divine feminines who are ready or feeling ready at this time to bring in all of these new things. Okay, and for those who are not ready, it's also fine. There will come out your moment, or whatever. Everyone has, like, we all have our unique path. But yeah, I was guided to focus very, very like deeply on that. Okay. Let's see. Janelle says, I had these experiences where I had what felt like rapid deja vus every few seconds. Oh, deja vus. Oh, deja vus every few seconds. but would quickly forget. I'm epileptic. I'm not sure if this was seizure activity or spiritual experience. Yes, Janelle, great question. Actually, seizures or having, certain amounts of seizures or these, let's say, like charges in the brain, they can trigger channeling experiences, or they can even sometimes increase your spiritual sensitivity. And I say this because, as you know, my brother has cerebral palsy, and he has seizures like on a regular basis. He has to take medicine every single day since he was little. He was born almost, to prevent them from happening too much. But every couple of months, he will have one. They're usually triggered, in his case, they're usually triggered by emotions. But sometimes I have observed that they can also be a way of releasing tension from his body and releasing also emotional and stress from his body, because he's not able to move the way that we are, and he's not able to express his feelings and his emotions. Sometimes when he is very charged up with things, he will have a seizure, and after the seizure, it looks as if he would be relieved sometimes, even though it's a very hard thing to watch and to experience and to have. But in those moments, we see it from an energetic perspective. It's like he would just like go connect and go to the higher realms, release the tension of the body, and come back into the body. So if you suffer from that, Janelle, I would, yes, of course, actually anything that is seen as sort of like a disorder or something potentially different within your brain circuitry and how your brain works, many times because of that abnormal activity, you can develop abnormal gifts. So, you can see there are many documentaries, for example, about the savants, these children who are, disabled or have these different conditions, and they are, I don't know, like geniuses in mathematics, or they are geniuses in playing music, or, because a part of the brain is not working properly, the other part of the brain sort of like overcompensates and develops more. So, for example, with my brother, because his damage is in the left cerebellum, the right, so his connection to spirit, his flow, his connection to people, his sensitivity, his capacity to see beyond the veil is very, very expanded. And on the contrary, his mobility and his capacity to like analyze or think linearly, or like he cannot read, he cannot write. You cannot tell him like, hey, like do this. He won't do it. He'll just do what he wants to do. But there these things do happen. So let me see for you, General. If you can, I would try perhaps to even practice more regularly channeling information or during your meditation, and try to get a feeling for how your body feels when you are in that state. Of course, we have to go into relaxation, into neutrality. And if you can, if you ever have another seizure, that I hope not, but if you're having those, or it's something that happens regularly, try perhaps recording, really quickly recording on your phone. Maybe you could get to, record whatever you saw or were channeling. Or you can even also set the intention to remember what is being relayed to you during those moments. and then make a constant effort after that happens to remember and to record it. Also, the exercise of recording ourselves when we channel or writing down what we're channeling, that also triggers connections in the brain that will help you remember and remember to write down next time it happens. So we program ourselves also when we relay the messages. I hope that helped. Let me know if you have any other questions. But yes, it's definitely possible that you can do that. Actually, one of the most clairvoyant people that I know ever um, is a person who had a very big, suffered a very big brain damage or disease, I guess, brain disease. And then after the person recovered, the person, like, he developed amazing capacities to see beyond and to see into different planes and dimensions and things. So it can happen and it can be related. Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you, Miss L, for telling people to like the video. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. It helps everything. It helps the whole community and system that YouTube has here. Thank you, Nati. Bless you. There's Sister Guadalupe has a question on why she feels so stuck and what her next move should be. Oh, please. Let me see. Okay, I'm hearing she needs to take care of her body. I don't know how she's doing in her physical body, but it seems like they're saying, like, she needs to take care of her body, what she eats, and also like moving more. Like sometimes when we get stuck, sometimes we tend to also like hold on to a lot of things in our body. So bringing like more high frequency foods like fruits, vegetables, raw things into her diet, and teas and herbs. Maybe even doing like a cleanse. It could help her also emotionally, because everything is tied, right? We're a system. But for her specifically, I don't know what they're telling me. To like sort of like change a little bit the eating, and also to move a little bit more. Like I see her walking outside, just taking a walk every day and letting the mind relax. It's like doing walking meditation. That could really help her to become comfortable again in her body. Sorry, in her physical self. And let me see. Yeah, and I don't know if she is going through a separation or something, but there is a relationship, and I think it's with a man. I don't know who this man is, but it's like it's time to like release herself from that. They're saying like it's time to regain her independence, her power, like to not depend on that person if she's depending on that person in any way. Okay, I hope that helped. Dennis, let me know. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's wonderful, Janelle. Okay. Yes, exactly, Miss L. Okay, guys. So I think we're going to slowly close this. We're going to come to an end. But if you don't follow me already there, you can follow me on Instagram. I post like many things every day. I share teachings. I share sometimes channeling, channeled message, voice messages. I use it as a tool, Instagram, because sometimes it's way easier and faster to record or to be on the go or between sessions, and then you boom, you pop in and pop out. And also you can write to me DMs there. Oh, okay, Venice. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, they were showing me like to cut the cords or the relationship with that person. Like, felt like she was imprisoned in these like ropes. You know, they showed me two hands and she was holding on to these male hands. They were saying it's time to cut the ropes. So that was the vision. Just as an example, guys, that was the vision that I had to say what I said to Venice. You're so welcome, darling. And you know, if you guys want to go into this right with me, into these sessions with me, these healings, audios, personal healing, personal questions, and you know, do the whole goddess journey with me, you are so welcome to join us. I will post the link one last time here for anyone who wants to apply and to read more. Like when you open that link, it will actually bring you to an introduction where you can see all about the program. Hi, dear Lulia. Oh, so happy you're here, love. We were just starting to wrap up. But if you have any questions, let me know. Yes, Venice, that's really good. So if you open this link, it will take you to that introduction and you will see what we will do each month. It will be literally a little bit like a pregnancy, but what we're going to be birthing is ourselves and you and our counterparts and our life and our dreams and our bodies, everything. It will be all encompassing. Okay. And so can read all about it and then you can just fill it up. It takes you 4 minutes. And then I will invite you to a private session with me. And there we will discuss your questions if you have any about the program. And then you can join us. That's the process. And it's still on early bird discount. There are payment plans available. There's everything for everybody. And the early bird is still going on until the 25th of February. So not that long anymore. Okay. And the faster you fill the form, the faster we get you to your session with me. And then the faster you can save your spot because they are not so many. We're going to be a small group so we can really work with everybody in the group. Okay. Okay, so here's the form. I hope you guys can open it. Let me know. For the Goddess Love Program. Oh, and this is also going to include like a big discount for my Goddess Retreat, which will happen in October. And we will have the first one in October, and it's going to be in a very magical place in the mountains. And then we will have a second one, but in April from next year, in the ocean, at the ocean again. So everybody who joins the program will also get discounts for the retreat so that we can actually meet in the physical after doing a bunch of work. Meet together, you receive in-person healing from me. We do all of the beautiful ceremonies that we do finally together, like, you know, here in the flesh. And then we return to just close out the year with everything that we integrate. Okay, so that's the path, that's the mission for this 2023. If you guys want to join, and I will be doing something for the divine masculine as well next year. Okay, I promise. I don't want to leave you guys behind, I swear. But it's just that there's a lot of focus on the feminine work for now, and then the masculine next, and then the babies next. Okay, so we're pre-templating everything. Okay. Okay, darlings. Lulia, do you have any question? Let me know. Hope you're doing so well. Okay. Okay, Nati says, do you know how I can stop mirroring all the energies that I'm exposed to? Like stopping myself from picking up the energies of the people I meet. Yes, darling. You have to protect yourself more. Like find a way to energetically protect yourself that you feel is like bulletproof, kind of like putting your Batman costume on and nothing can happen. Like you can still be with everybody and anybody in the room, but always having very strongly grounded who you are and what frequency you're operating from. And the moment that you feel that you start to come into a frequency of that person, you can also be like, oh, excuse me a second, I have to go to the bathroom or whatever. And you just go, breathe, bring your frequency up, bring yourself to alignment with yourself, and then go back out there again. So a bit of self-regulation and amplifying your protection grids. Okay. I hope that helps, darling. Oh, and I'm also going to start doing the podcasts again, like the interviews, the soul conversations. You can see them in my playlists. But I'm going to be interviewing, I have already three or four speakers. Some of them are also going to be master teachers in the Goddess Love course, because I'm going to invite some other healers and people to give you guys master classes as well. And I'm going to be doing this year again, because I kind of like last year I was, I had too much in my hands to actually give that time. But with the new studio, I think we will be able to do and start to record more conversations and more interviews and share them with more people. And there are quite a few really interesting and amazing healers and people who will be joining. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Oh yes, Julia. I'm also like so happy about it, and to be able to welcome you guys here, and also to welcome you in this land and in that place, which is super super magical and super healing. So yeah, I would love to see you there. And thank you, Bobby. So I will leave you guys with that. I'm here if you have any questions, and if you want me to answer faster, just DM me via Instagram or send me an email to Lana, right here, Lana at soulrising.com. Okay. And for sessions and everything, all the links, I'll put them in this video below. And yeah, and if you ever find that there are no available sessions, but you want to have a session with me, write to me, okay? Like I always say, ask and you shall receive. So don't worry about approaching me. That's why I'm here. And that's also what I did with my teachers and with my mentors and guides. And I was always a very curious student, I think, and I asked a lot of questions. But I really appreciate that too, and I'm very honored to actually be able to help you guys in whatever stage you are, because I know it's not easy. Okay, so I love you. Please stay strong, stay calm, stay focused, do your practices, bring your tools out, and know that we're here together. We're not alone. We're doing this together. Okay. And it's a pleasure and a joy to connect with you always. And I'll also try to do these lives and ask Lana more frequently. And if there are any topics that you want me to discuss, like channeling or whatever comes to mind for you, please let me know. Okay. Oh, I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will see you very soon in the next one. Okay. Stay safe. Bye.